Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options in Play video update. So we've had some really dramatic rotations over the last month. Started kind of in the middle of earnings season when we got some pretty solid reports in a lot of different like value or or maybe more like defensive type areas. And we've seen like the money flow just really, well, it did accelerate into these areas, so whether that's financials or energy or industrials. Um, Really just strong, consistent money flow up until the CPI last week, because it was like money was coming out of tech, which had kind of like a disappointing reporting period, right? And money was moving into like some of those value slash defensive areas. Uh, Now, as money comes back into tech, you are starting to see some rotation. Now, you aren't seeing the huge pullbacks across the board in some of these defensive names that we're starting to bid up, but maybe that is something we will start to see, right? So Friday was interesting because healthcare, which had been one of those defensive areas that really saw a lot of flows, got hit very hard, and there really wasn't specific news. It was more like money was coming out of healthcare and going into tech, right? Because people were kind of mispositioned after the CPI. A lot of tech names were beaten up. Money's going into tech. Money's coming out of other areas, right? So you saw some healthcare names like Cigna or UNH, which were down really sharply. Not on any headlines specifically, but more about like the rotation, right? Now, what I'm watching and what a lot of people are watching is like when is that rotation going to catch up to some of the financials, some of the banks that are very extended, right? Because the question isn't like is Goldman extended? Obviously, it is extended. It's overbought. Its stock is parabolic and it's due for a pullback, right? But now it's just waiting to see does it have a higher or lower high accompanied by a lower low? You know, you need some sort of reversal setup because the stock is still making higher highs, higher lows, and still well above the 8 EMA, right? So it's not a question of whether it's overbought or extended because it is. It's like if it is going to pull back, you need to see some sort of reversal sign, right? Same idea with like a Boeing. It's like yes, the stock is extended, it's up very quickly, very aggressive move higher, and it's due for a pullback, but still at the same time you're not getting like the sustained dips, right? You're not getting like the lower highs accompanied by the lower lows. So these are things I'm watching, right? And I'm more focused on the downside because I think that like if money is going to be coming into tech more consistently, that some of these really overbought areas probably need to pull back, right? To get some money coming out of these areas going into like tech, semi, software, what have you, right? But also I need to see a specific setup, right? I need to see some sign that the selling is exhausted. So whether that's a lower low, whether that's a break of the 8 EMA, right? Sometimes you get like a higher or lower high accompanied by a lower low, which is like one of my favorite reversal setups. But basically, you just need to see something, right? Because right now you're not seeing something. These stocks are still putting in higher highs, higher lows, still riding the 8 EMA to the upside. So, I am looking for a pullback, but I also need to see signs that it's ready to pull back because I don't want to just keep fading it as it goes higher because there's still no indication that they're done buying, right? I mean, Goldman still putting in higher highs and higher lows. So, things I'm watching this week for sure. Especially if you think tech is going to continue higher, it seems that like money should be coming out of some of these really bid up areas over the last month because some profit taking or some rotation. Either way, I mean, some of these stocks are extended, and some of that money is probably moving into things that could play some catch up to the upside. Okay, so if you are in some of these areas, I'd say like be more mindful, locking in more money, right? Trailing your stops just to make sure that you don't let these things really roll over on you if they do start to pull back. And then if you're looking at tech, right? It's more about okay, now that you had the big move higher, can they hold levels, right? So for XLK, can it hold the 100-day? Start to put in like a higher base, set up like the next move to the upside, right? So it's whether they can hold on to these new levels and then really start to make progress from here. Okay, so food for thought. It's going to be a long week. Got a lot of news coming up, a lot of big earnings, so should be a volatile one, and we'll just see how the week plays out. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about swing trading with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night. Stay well, and I'll talk to you